I'm going to hit record right now. Thank you, Tito, for coming to today's BigMarker tour. So today we'll just be going through the basics of BigMarker, and feel free at any time to ask any questions you have, and I might be able to answer most of them. So BigMarker support team and community hero team is run by Andy and myself. Andy is the gentleman who does our OLAR chat and some of our support emails, and then I am the one that does most of the support emails and hosts these tours. These are the two different ways that you can get a hold of us. So if you ever need to email either Andy or myself, it's really easy. It's Andy at BigMarker or Joe at BigMarker.com. So just a quick explanation of what BigMarker is basically the idea behind BigMarker is to make it easy for anyone to host web conferences or find one of the thousands of web conferences already happening. So the idea is we want to make it as easy for you as an organizer to host webinars and web conferences, and for people attending web conferences and webinars, make it as easy for them to attend and as easy for you to host. So we do that in a different way than most other people. Most other web conferencing platforms, you get online as a host and you create an account and then you just host webinars. BigMarker is more of a group-based platform, so the idea is that these groups are hosting these webinars and video conferences or web conferences, whatever you prefer to call them. So the idea is the central group, for example, we can have a dog group right here that happens to do dog care, is hosting different webinars on vaccination. So it's a place for people to find information they need on dog care and then all of the webinars surrounding that. So if you're on our homepage, one of the nice things to help the finding aspect of BigMarker is on our homepage and on our find page, we make all of the public conferences front and center. So you can see all of the conferences that we have highlighted as the BigMarker staff, all of the upcoming conferences in chronological order, and then even below this, you'll be able to see all of the public communities as well. So the idea is we want to help promote these webinars and video conferences on our homepage. So you can see they have the failure is a step towards success, how to bridge the gap. So this gentleman's hosting a webinar in the mastermind group. And then everybody on BigMarker too, once you've logged in, again to promote the way of how to find and host webinars to make them easy, is everybody when you've logged into BigMarker, you have your own home page. So you can see that I'm logged in at the top right-hand corner. You can see my little image. And then also on this page as well, you can see all of the upcoming webinars and conferences that you can be involved in. So we have the demo room. For myself, I have a daily stand-up. We have the tour of BigMarker, which we're in now, and then the view more conferences. Underneath that, we have all of the recordings that you are able to watch. So this is all of your public and private recordings you can watch, so then you can view them. And then underneath that, we have all the communities that you're involved in. The idea with your homepage is this gives you access to all of the content you need. Then from there, we move on to the community. So again, what we like to think of BigMarker is these webinars that are connected through a group. So again, that can be your nonprofit, a church group, it can be a study group, it can be a group of teachers, it can even be a business is the idea of these groups or communities. So for example, we do have a large group. There is, I think, almost 900 math teachers that gather every Tuesday to host different math webinars on a variety of subjects. So the idea is they use their community to meet between these webinars. So they can come on and post, they can use the chat, things like that. So the idea with the community is everything's centered around keeping connected between the webinars. So on your community page, we have your community cover photo, your community logo, which can be changed at any time, community name, the bulletin, the calendar, the conferences, members, about, and settings. So the bulletin is where you can post updates. Calendar is where you see all of your upcoming and past events. Conferences is where you see your upcoming conferences, and you can also watch old recordings. Members is where you would see all of the members of your group. And then we have the about, which is where you would find out about the information about the group. And then you, as the organizer of the group, have your own little settings where you can come through and change the privacy, the name, the URL, and all the other settings you would need in your community. And then from there, we have your send invites and the sharing socially if it's a public group. So below that, we actually have the meat of the bulletin, which allows you to post updates. So you can see from left to right, we have the ability to create new conferences, watch past recordings, share updates. You can even add files to a shared update. And then on the right, we have your pinned posts. Below that, you can see somebody has posted. So we have Arjun has posted, "Hi everyone," and then we say, "Hello, Arjun," back. So this is the idea of the posting. You can, again, look at it at any time. So you can post at 3 o'clock in the morning or at noon. The idea is, again, these postings are to help keep everybody updated between these virtual meetings, which happen live. And then we've added an impromptu meeting space. This is a brand new feature on BigMarker. It's called the community chat. So in the far right-hand corner of your community, you'd see a pop-up that comes up, and it's your community chat. And basically, this allows you to chat at real time with people that are online. So you can see who's online. You can chat with them. So the idea is this is kind of an impromptu meeting, so you haven't scheduled anything. You just get on, you see that Bill's on, you both type to each other, and then you move about your day. When you do the community chat, emails are not sent out. When you do the bulletin, you can think of them as more permanent posting, so emails are sent out to let people know that they have a notification and to come and read it. Next, we have how to create a conference. So it's very easy on how to create a conference. There's 2 ways in your community. You can obviously click the new conference button. You can also, anywhere from the website, click host a conference. So if you're on the website and you're in you're on our find page or whatever page, you can click host a conference, and that takes you to our conference create page. It used to be a 3-step process. Now it's just a 1-step process. And basically the idea is this is taking you through what it's going to look like on your conference landing page. So you give your conference a title. You can edit your custom URL. Then you tell people what the conference is about. So this adds your conference description. And then underneath that, you can select what the conference is covering. So you're able to add up to 5 topics. So your topics could be whatever you're covering. Then on the far right, we have adding a photo. So you can select a photo for your conference. It's very easy. This, again, shows up on your conference page. We suggest adding a photo because it's 4 times more likely for people to attend your conference if you actually have a conference photo compared to a standard image like this. Then the next thing is the when. So this is when you select when the conference is happening. So you can select the date and time. Conferences last for either 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. 4 hours is the maximum time limit. Your conference room also, too, will open a half an hour for you as the host and organizer of the community. So if we had a 10 a.m. conference, it would actually open at 9:30 for you to be able to enter the room as the host. And then next we have the hosted by. So we have the who, what, where, when, and why already kind of taken care of. So the hosted by, you select the group that's hosting it. So that's the community. You can select the categories. And then who's the presenter of the groups, of the conference. So you can select who's the presenter. Anybody inside your community can actually be a presenter. So you don't actually have to, you can create the conference and actually select somebody else as the presenter, or select a co-presenter of the conference. And then at the far right, we have our conference options. So these are more options for you as the host to kind of customize your conference. So we have privacy. Is it a public or private conference? The format the conference room will be in. So there's 2 different formats for your conference room. On this page, it's slightly confusing about what you're selecting. So when you say webinar meeting, it's just literally how the conference room is formatted. So in a webinar room like we are in right now, I have more controls as an administrator. So since I'm the presenter, I can actually turn off and on your mic, lock the room for you as an attendee. In a meeting room, everybody is an administrator, so everybody has the same rights. So everybody can upload files, everybody can share their screen if they need to, everybody can share their audio and video. So depending on what type of event you're doing is what you would select there. My suggestion is if you're hosting more than 10 people in a conference room is you should select webinar so that you as the host have a little bit more freedom to turn off and on people's webcams if they're sharing something they shouldn't be. Below that we have the capacity. So our conference rooms can host up to 250 people. Then we have a new feature which is called Smart Spots. It artificially creates demand for your conference. So instead of showing that there are 250 tickets left, it'll show that there are 25 tickets left. which makes it seem like people need to register then instead of later. So that's just something to know with smart spots. And then as soon as 25 are gone, a new 25 will be added, etc. Language, this tells the attendees what language the conference will be in. And then we have location. So we have servers in North America, South America, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Europe. So, we also have one in Australia. That's our brand new server. So the idea with location is you would select the conference server location that's closest to most of the people that are going to be participating. So for example, we live in Chicago, but if I was hosting a webinar with 90% of the people in South America, I would select the South American server, and then everybody else besides me will have a much better experience. And then we have upload the recording to YouTube. So this is something that you can select at any time, where basically the idea would be you can upload your recordings to BigMarker's YouTube page, and from there it makes it easier for you to share your recordings. Then below that we have sell tickets. So you can sell tickets. So if you wanted to charge $25 to attend your event, you can. Or you can even do a new feature we have. It's called Chip In, which allows people to basically donate or contribute to a price they would like for the conference. So instead of paying $25, they can choose to pay $10, or they could choose to pay $100 to attend that conference. So the idea with Chip In is it makes it closer to a donation system. And then on the right is the system requirements, so that you have the system requirements at hand. On the next page, we have the conference landing page. So this is what you will see when you actually create your conference. So this is where you will land on your conference. So let me zoom in a little bit. Sorry, the zoom's being a little tricky. So basically from top to bottom, it's very easy. It's kind of like the regular conference room. So we have the ability to edit a conference, your conference name, the time, the category, the description, who it's hosted by, enter conference room, share, logistics, and who is registered. So to register and attend a conference, you do need to have a BigMarker account. It's very easy to create an account, and it's free. You can sign up with Facebook, Twitter, Google, or even your email, but we do not have a guest access right now. That is a coming feature, which will be able to have people access the room without having to become a member. But they do not need to be a member of your group to attend the conference. So that's just something to know as well. So conference is opening. You can click to enter the conference room. Again, you can enter the conference room 30 minutes before. Your attendees can open 15 minutes before. So your conferences can host up to 250 people, with 12 people sharing their webcams. It's cloud-based, so that means it loads right in your browser. All of the members of your community can create these events. So basically, that's one of the things that sets BigMarker apart from GoToMeeting, WebEx, etc., is that everybody inside your community actually has a host licensing. You could turn that off if you would like, but basically that means if you had 10 people in your community and all 10 of them wanted to create conferences, they could, and we do not charge more or less for that ability. Attendees don't need to be members of your community either. Time shown on landing page shows time of user time zone. Yes, so when you join BigMarker, you're prompted to select your time zone, and then once you do, all of your times on BigMarker, the emails you receive, etc., to the conference landing pages, all show up in your time zone. So if I'm in Central Time and you're in Eastern, it'll all show up to Eastern. Now the website is standardized to Central Time, so if our system cannot read your time zone when you come to the website, we try our hardest to read people's time zones when they are on our website, when they're not signed in. It'll show Central if we can't read it, and it'll try to show their time if we can read their computer. That's a little harder to do. When you invite someone to a BigMarker conference, and they do not have an account, the invite will show in your time zone. So that's, again, kind of a little slightly confusing. So if you are in Central Time and you invite somebody that's in Pacific, the email will send out to them in Central if they have not joined. Okay. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier. Time zones are a tricky thing. So when you enter the conference room, you as the host are prompted to share your microphone and webcam right off the beginning. So basically the idea with this is you're prompted, this is a little loading screen, so you can share your microphone and webcam. But here on this page, you're not actually sharing it. You're just testing it out. So if you see this page, you do need to hit Done, Continue to move forward. And then once you move forward, you end up on a page that kind of looks like this. So basically, the conference room is split into 3 sections. We have the page layout, we have the options tabs, we have the settings tabs. So let's scroll into your settings because they're the easiest to look through first. So your settings has your video, your audio, mute all, raise hand, and inside of a webinar, there's 2 other buttons right here. So the idea with this is basically your settings allow you to control your webcam and your audio. So you can turn them off and on if you want to, things like that right there. Those are all independent. They, your control panel is your control panel, my control panel is my control panel. And then from there we have in the top left-hand corner, well the left side of the screen, we have the page layout. So there's 3 page layouts, and that basically controls this left side of the room. And what those layouts are group, focus, and media. So in media, it shows obviously the presentation of the screen sharing. If I do focus, it'll show a webcam. And if I do group, it'll show all of the webcams. So one's just being shared right now, but if we had more than one, it would show more than one. So on the media, again, it shows the presentation. When you enter the conference room, it's always stuck on media because then it makes it easier for you to share your presentations. And then on the far right, we have the options tabs. So the options tabs go as chat, people, share, record, and help. So under chat, it's very easy. It's a basic chat service, post updates. You chat here, you click send. The biggest 2 differences, the 2 things you need to know about chat are in this little black button right there, you can actually select a font color. So if you want to do a different font color than black, you can actually type in that. Also, 2, is there is a little chat with button at the top, which allows you to chat with an individual. The chat is part of the recording. The chat with is not part of the recording. Next, we have the People tab. So on the People tab, it shows you who is the administrator of the room, a person's name, if they're presenting, who's sharing their audio, and then also who's muted, who's sharing their video, and if you scroll over people's names, it allows you to give them control of the presentation or kick the user out of the room. So if you need to see who's in the room, you can just click the People tab and then go, and then you'll get warnings if somebody does chat if you're in the People tab. So if you just want to watch the People tab, you'll know when people are chatting. Question, presentations need to be previously uploaded or is it screen sharing? So we have the presentation. So you cannot actually upload a presentation before the conference starts. So when you enter the room 30 minutes before, you can upload presentations. You can upload PowerPoints. You can upload, in fact, here, I'll just skip to the slide. This is the presentation screen. So you can upload PowerPoints, PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, Microsoft Word documents, and all sorts of images. So basically that allows you to have all of those presentations. For example, I'm going through a PDF right now. Or you can share your desktop. There are 2 different features. So desktop sharing, it's a download that you put on your screen, and then from that it takes pictures of your screen as fast as possible and whips them through the internet to other people. So that's just something to know with your screen sharing. Depending on what you're sharing, if you're just doing a standard presentation like this, it's much easier just to upload it than it's trying to do sharing your desktop. But you can do both. We suggest PDFs because they tend to translate better in the conference room. The conference room sometimes has a hard time reading some of the fonts on PowerPoint, so that's just something to know. And it won't play the animations or sounds. So this is the share page, you browse file. To share your desktop, it's very easy. You click Share My Desktop. Click Open the Download or Save the Download. You select the screen you would like to share on, and then you start sharing your screen. You click to stop. There is no preview for you as the host, so that can be kind of confusing. We do that for bandwidth reasons. It takes up a lot of bandwidth to do the preview of the screen, and that'll slow down your computer, which will make screen sharing worse, which then will make your preview worse, etc. It's a pretty terrible cycle. And also, too, it's industry standard because of the bandwidth not to do it. So if you wanted to see what your screen would look like, we suggest looking at it on another computer and then seeing what it's like if you wanted to know. If not, you can just know that it's actually sharing your screen. If you're going to share your screen on a Mac, please, 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 please read through our Help Center. There's a Help Center guide. Sharing your screen on a Mac is a pain because Mac is anti the particular software we're using. They do not like Java software, so there's just a different process you have to do to open it. So if you're on a PC, you're good. If you're on a PC, it works really well. If you're on a Mac, it can be kind of confusing. You got to do some steps to open it up. So how about showing a video on YouTube, for instance? Unfortunately, you can't do that right now. That is a forthcoming feature. That's a feature we've been wanting to get for a while, and I know that it is in the process of design and discussion on how it could work. I don't know how many months we're away from that, but basically the idea would be is that you could share YouTube in the conference room. Right now, unfortunately, you cannot. What we've had in the past is people will copy and paste the URL into the chat box. Everybody will move to a new screen, watch it, and then come back. So yeah, so you can go to YouTube. Let's see. Let's just do a... Give me 1 second. I'll post a YouTube video. So here's this gentleman's YouTube video he did. And then you could click on it and it'll open it in a new window. My only suggestion with that is if you're going to do a YouTube video is when you tell people to watch it, to mute yourself so that you don't share your audio of the YouTube video, because that'll make it kind of confusing for people. Also, screen sharing a video doesn't really work very well because, again, it's taking pictures of your screen and sending it as fast as it can and taking it as fast as it can. So the video will look choppy on a screen sharing. But screen sharing is great if you wanted to share how to use a website, how to use a particular product or something like that. You know, like if you want to demonstrate how to use PowerPoint, you can. There's two more things to know about screen sharing that I didn't mention. Screen sharing is not recorded right now. That is a forthcoming feature. So we put out screen sharing before we had recording because it's still about 2 or 3 weeks away. It's a pretty big update for the recording to add that in. So if you do share your screen, it will not be recorded, which is why I'm not actually sharing my screen on how to use BigMarker because I want it to be recorded. So please, if you're going to do your screen sharing, just understand that, and it will be recorded here soon. So that'll be added in very soon. And then also that comes with a big audio-video update. So the audio-video is getting a huge update to make it better at the same time. All three of those things are happening right at the same time. Also, part of the screen sharing is to know is that the minimum to get into the conference room is 2 megabytes per second download, and then a half a meg, or sorry, 1 meg upload, I think is what it is. That's just the minimum. That's basically like coming in and listening and chatting, not even sharing your audio or video. So we say the basic bare minimum to share your screen should be 5 megabytes consistent. Such as something to note that when you do share your screen is that you need a much faster speed. So just something to know. So don't share it at a Starbucks. So if you go to the record section, when you want to record, it's very easy. You go to the record section, you click record, it starts recording, you click end record, and it starts processing. We do not have a pause button. And it records the audio, the video, the presentation, and the chat. And then the recording is published right here on your conference page, so you can see the recording and watch it from there. That can even be embedded on your website if you'd like. The last two features of the conference room. So if we looked at the conference room, yes, chat is also recorded. Private chat is not recorded. So your chat, when you mention this, is recorded. But if you privately chat somebody, that won't be recorded. So when we looked at this room, there's no 2 buttons right here, and there's a missing button right there. So that's a meeting room. again, everybody has the privileges in a meeting room, but in a webinar, there are two separate new privileges as a host. So the first one is attendee controls. So this allows you to turn off and on your attendees' microphones and webcams. So if you hosted for 250 people, you can make sure everybody has their microphone and webcam off. And then the page layout lock button. So if you don't lock the page layout in a meeting, somebody can be on group and somebody else can be on media. Somebody can be on focus. You as the user would be able to independently choose. In a webinar, you as the host get to choose what view people are on their page. So in this one, this is the group layout. So again, if I change focus, it changes for everyone. And if I go back, it goes back to me. Let's cover the rest of it real quick. So unlimited web conferencing for your group. So we have two prices on BigMarker. Free, which is a public group, means anybody can join it. You don't have any privacy options, but it's free and it's awesome. Most of our groups on BigMarker actually use the public groups. They don't mind meeting publicly. They host webinars. They want people to join. The private groups allow you to have more privacy, and they're going to be getting some premium features here soon. But basically, they give you more administrative control over the group. But don't take our word for it. Here's some quotes about BigMarker. This can all be found on our About page. These are people who liked us. So basically, they're talking about that it's easy to use. We try to make it easy. If you have any questions in the future and you can't get a hold of us, obviously check out our Help Center. We try to keep it as updated as we can. The troubleshooting guides are pretty updated, so if you're having trouble sharing your audio or video, they do explain how to take care of it. You can check out our blog. We haven't posted on it for a while. The YouTube videos, Andy and I do post as many of these as we can to YouTube, so it makes it easy. Also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And again, if you do need to get a hold of us, please email us at any time, Andy and Joe at BigMarker.com. If you are creating a group and you want us to do a demo for the whole group, just let us know. We're more than welcome to do that. A few months back, we have a friend that, we had somebody that we know that hosts conferences in Spanish, so he's a Spanish-speaking person, and I think he is in Venezuela. He's hosting a ton of conferences, and he's got a group that's joining these conferences, and we got online and did how to use BigMarker, and we did it very slowly, and he had a translator there translate it into Spanish. It was very fun. The $20, is there a contract, or can I use it for a couple months, for instance? Yeah, so we just do month to month. So basically the idea is you can get on, use it for a couple months, let me know, and we can pause the group, or we can delete it. So you don't need to pay for those months that you're not using. You just have to let me know, and we can pause it for you. But yeah, so if you started using it in May and used it for May, June, and July, and then canceled the group, you are good to go. And then again, yeah, from Portugal and Southern Europe. So we do have a server in Europe. It's in Ireland. So for you guys, you should actually even have better web conferencing than what you have with me right now. And then two, so email me, send me an email at joe@BigMarker when you've created your group, and I can help extend your trial for a while. We have a 14-day free trial right now, so if you let me know, and I can extend it for a little bit longer, so you guys have plenty of time to test it out and make sure everything works well for you. And that's easy to do. I can do that in a couple minutes. Cool, let me know. Here, I'm going to end the recording. We don't need to have this as all part of the stuff that gets set up. So I'm going to end the recording. Thank you for attending, everybody.